Hello. Hi everyone. Good morning guys. As part of the today's session, I want to explain a brief overview on advanced schema validations. Guys, if you have seen basically in our previous examples, we have covered a couple of scenarios like where exactly we are validating the response JSON body, right? So today we will be looking at a bit kind of an advanced schema validations for which what I'm going to take right now is let me show you an API for a reference that I'm gonna work on. So here, go for this get endpoint. So this get endpoint is retrieving this information. Okay, this is the endpoint where it is having the user ID, title, and a body. Okay, user ID, and a title and a body. So I have created a schema validations of feature file where I was just using a get method. Let me try to run my test script as a Cucumber feature. So we are good that we are getting a response from our API, whichever the response that we have seen right now, I'm getting the same response. I want to do a schema validations here. What I'm gonna do right now is, so here and okay and def schema. Okay, validation data is equal to whatever the response is there. I just want to define that particular response here. And if you remember, for a number, right, we need to use a hash number. If it is a string, we will be using a hash string. If you want to check whether it is a not null, we will be using a hash not null or a null or a present or not present. These kind of an assertions that you are using, right? So from the response, what you have, we have a user ID, title, and a body. So copy this user ID and it's a number, right? So this user ID and the value for this one is a number, comma. What was the next one? The next one is an ID, and of course, this ID is also a number, hash number. Right. What was the next value? The title. So the title is a group of characters which you can treat it as a string. Hence, I'm defining this particular title as a string, hash string. And the last one here is a body. We do have a body too. Copy this body and put it here, and it's gonna be hash string. Okay, this body is also string. I have a defined my schema here. Now, I want to validate with my response. So, what are we doing? I want to compare whether this JSON structure is there in my response or not. Hence, then match response is equal to. What are we doing right now? We are matching the response. So here, as we are dealing with a complete schema validations, I'm just using this particular three. And here, what I want to do right now, I just need to go with my entire schema. So here, hash, okay, I just want to retrieve schema value and this close this bracket. So I'm just referring to that particular value. So I'm just surrounding it with a single quote. Now perfectly all right, let me try to run this particular schema and check it out whether it is working or not. It's getting executed and let us see the response. Okay, so perfect, the response is good enough. So to cross check, right, what I'm doing is I'm changing my number to string. So ideally, user ID is a number, right? When I did a schema validations, when I cross check it, basically, it will retrieve it as a field stating that, buddy, that's a number, and you are comparing with a string. So definitely it will fail. The perfectly all right. So this is the way how exactly you can do a schema validations. Perfect. What I'm gonna do right now is copy this line. This is a basic schema validation. If the response is having a bit arrays or a complex kind of a structure, how are we gonna validate that is the key thing. So here, let's go back to the browser and here this is the response. So if you observe basically this response is of an array type. See, seriously, guys, the response is on of array type and it has a multiple objects inside that. So I know how to validate a particular JSON object like this, but how exactly I can validate a response which is having an array of multiple JSON objects? How I am gonna deal with it? So a simple way here is change the URL first of all. Okay, change the API endpoint URL, and now and def s- schema validations is equal to. And now, so first of all, let's take this one. So forgot about this particular array, just consider about this particular object right now. Okay, it has a post ID, which is a number. So here, post ID. Okay, let's get this post ID completely what we have done. Post ID, and it's just a number, right? Post ID is a number. Perfect. And ID, even this is also a number. ID is also a number. And the name, of course, this name is a string, right? So here I'm defining name as a string. Okay, I'm just defining this name as a string. And after this name, I do have a email ID and as well as a body too. Email ID, and of course this email ID is also a string, and finally we have a body, and even it is also a string. Okay, this body is also a string. So the complete schema, which is a response JSON structure, I have a defined in this. It has a post ID, name, email, and a string. Perfectly all right. So what I'm doing right now is Karate API documentation. I'm navigating to this particular API and I'm searching for hash string. Okay, I was just searching for a hash string. Basically, if you see this one, hash expression, advanced array validation. So, which means that if at all you are having an advanced arrays, you can use in this particular way. So, what I'm gonna do right now is then match response is equal to, I'm just defining this thing. And here, as it is an array, right? The first and a foremost thing is hash array. I don't want to specify anything, hence I am using a hash array. And the expression that you have stored here is in this particular one, in this def. To retrieve that particular information, hash this particular name that you have used and with the braces. That's it. So here, this is what that we have done earlier itself. And as of now, you are using an array assertion with this particular chunk. Now, when I run my test scenario, it's gonna execute the test script and it will be updating and it will be executing as expected. Okay, perfectly all right. So this is the way how exactly you can do a schema validations, guys. For suppose, okay, in your response, maybe, okay, in your response, you have an another JSON object here. You do have an another JSON object instead of a body. Again, it does has an again another JSON. In such cases, you know what exactly I'm trying to say here is, so this is the response, right? Inside the response, instead of this particular one, consider that you have maybe, okay, you have some other arrays, okay, or some other object information or any kind of an arrays information inside that. Even you can define it in another def variable and you can retrieve that particular information, which would be an advanced schema validations. But this is the way how exactly you can implement this advanced schema validations. Okay, perfectly all right. See you again in the next session. Thank you.